right now. So welcome to day 11 of our 21-day financial fast. The chapter's title is Leave a Legacy of Good Money Sense. Now, I know some of you looked at the chapter immediately when I thought legacy. Yeah, we create legacies. It's leaving money to our kids, right? It's going and working hard, creating it, and then giving it all to them. And then sometimes we don't think about the impact or the implications, okay? Because we went so hard to become financially free, to get debt free, and that journey that we took, that we forget that in order to really create a legacy, it wasn't about, okay, the giving of money, okay? It's really about passing on a legacy mindset throughout your family. Because what happens is you can spend all this time, imagine spending all this time in your life, we finally break into the riches, right? We finally become wealthy. Okay, maybe you created a couple $1 million and the kids are good. And then in one generation, they go right back to normal and they don't leave anything to their grandchildren. And this is why biblically the Bible says a wise man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. And so how can you do that? Okay, the best way I know that I can leave an inheritance for my children's children outside of also leaving money. Okay, sometimes we think it's leaving money, and she gave me a whole nother perspective. It's like the best thing I can do as a father, one day a grandfather, is raise my kids, raise my son, my daughters with the same mindset, if not better than mine, of having a legacy and creating something for their kids and their grandkids and so forth. And that's giving them what I do. Okay, allowing to understand how do we create wealth in our family. So what should happen is, let's say in my time that I'm in, I create 10 million, 100 million, okay, my son should be able to times 10 that, or whatever the case may be. And we keep the generation going. And that's a powerful legacy. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I know I didn't do my morning. Great morning, everybody. Who do we have on the call right now? Good morning. Good morning to you all. Stevana, great morning. Milagros, good morning. Zoe, good morning. Mercedes, great morning. Mr. Sifu Benavides, great morning. Mr. David Walker, great morning. Mr. Matt Batiste, great morning. Who else do we have on here? Mr. Bill Hillerbrand, great morning. Lauren Forrest, let's go. P1000 loading, great morning. Fatima, great morning. Deborah, great morning. Who else? Lashonda, great morning. Clarissa Thompson, great morning. Miss May Morris, great morning. Miss Keena Abdul Jalil, great morning. April Pullins, great morning. Miss April Roper, great morning. Karen Ellis, Janita Cherry, Miss Chairman Chuck, Luane, and Demita, great morning. Stephanie Perez, great morning. Jennifer, great morning. Jacqueline, great morning. And all those who are on right now, great morning to you all. It is Saturday morning. Let's go ahead and begin this call here. The main point of this chapter is to train your child to be a good money manager. So it's not just about you as an adult, as you try to uplift yourself, as we try to uplift ourselves to the next level of financial maturity, okay, and elevation. We have to also bring our kids up. So if you're a parent on this call, definitely pay attention. If you're not a parent, okay, still pay attention. She says, don't skip this chapter. I promise you. And everything I'm going to talk about, I know that you go through it because we go through it in our house. And I'll tell you the senses for those who have had hard upbringings, okay, a hard knock life. I think about what I went through. Coming from Compton, California, I had some hard lessons in life, and I'm so grateful, and I thank God today that my kids don't have to go through what I went through in the neighborhoods that I lived in. Okay, but at the same time, I must also remember there were great lessons that got me to where I am. There were great lessons that allowed me to become the leader that I am. Okay, the God-fearing man that I am. There was lessons in my journey, so I have to make sure that no, they're not going to have the same exact journey as me. Okay, but I can give them the lessons that I got during my journey that allowed me to be who I am. You understand that? Now, a lot of parents, us, okay, we have this hard life, and what do? Oh, I don't want my kids to struggle. I don't want them to want for anything. Okay, I want them to have everything. And in good faith, right? You had good intentions because of what you went through, because what you think. Here's how we bless our child. We try to give them the life that we wanted. And you gotta understand, when we were children, we didn't know the life. Because we didn't get what we wanted, we got to where we are today. You're successful because of what you went through. You got to understand that. Who you are today, if you're in a good place and you're like, my life turned out great, okay? You're there because of the journey. And so you can't negate that and then override it and give your kids something else and then wonder what happened. Because what we do is we lean on an understanding like, man, I wish I would have got this when I was a child. I wish I would have had this Christmas or this holiday or at the lavish birthdays. I remember my friends, they had lavish birthdays. I have, some family members that are, I can look back and I'll tell you some stories. You know, we had our immediate family. I have, two sisters, two brothers. I was the oldest of five children. And I will tell you that all my siblings are pretty, for where they're at, they're all successful in their own right of what they're doing. Okay. And we were probably in our family, probably one of the hardest upbringing out of our entire family. Okay. Single family home, all that good stuff that happened to us. But I look and I say, man, like we turned out great. We turned out awesome. And I look at that and say, you know what? Maybe our journey was definitely worth it. It was what allowed us to become strong in what we are. And then I've seen some of the folks who had it, okay, their parents had it and gave it, and it's all, the entitlement kicked in. Okay. I'm gonna tell you, though I watched it. Those who had it as children, their parents gave them everything. I'm watching them as adults, and they are not operating. Okay. They have a sense of entitlement and they don't know how to get out of their situation. And I know it was their upbringing. They had a great upbringing. In your vision, we would say they had an awesome upbringing. They got everything. But today they can't function. And then you look at our family, we just had we didn't have everything at all. But we got what we needed. We ate, food was on the table. I don't care if it was minimal. We ate, we weren't malnutrition. Okay. A roof did stay over our head. We never went to the brink of where we were absolutely homeless. Okay. So we had enough to supply our needs, and that was good for us. Which, I look and it maybe pushed us where we had to depend on some other things. But today, I will tell you, it gave me a lot of strength, and I wouldn't take it back for nothing in the world at all. And I believe that's what she's going to talk about in this book, really. Okay, if you read this chapter. And so, parents, you probably realize now, like, man, I spoiled my kids. She addresses spoiled in here, so let's talk about it. Okay, she says, starting off, Scripture says what? Train up children in the way that you want them to go. Okay, as the Scripture says, and when they are old, they will not depart from it. Okay, so how you want your children to be today, I want you to think about how you want them to respond to the world. Okay, as adults, so often, and I realize Juan and I even talk about how this looks in our business. Okay, so often you can be a very strong parent. Okay, when I say a strong parent, you are the matriarch or the patriarch, and you pull your family. You're not gonna let nobody drop, but are you training them up for your departure? Okay, if I left this world today, you're a strong person now. Are your children strong? Have I trained them up so when I depart this earth, they're like me, okay, or they're stronger? And most of the time, that's not the case because you're so strong, okay, pulling everything. You pull your children, you make sure they're set, okay, you're pulling the family. And then when you leave, it falls apart because you didn't teach them why you were so strong. You didn't allow them to see. You get to be the coach. Let them go through the struggle while you can see it. See, like the father, he said, I'm only gonna let me let you struggle a little bit, because struggling allows you to build some character about yourself, build some resistance. And if you fall too far, I can catch you. Okay, parents, that's how I look at my children today. Hey, let them go through it for a little bit. And then if they fall too far, then I'm there to catch them. But I'm their advisor. Let me advise them of the way to go, suggest the way to go. And if they don't go that way, then I can catch them and say, hey, this is how we're supposed to do it. Okay. So she goes, the problem with us as parents is we don't know how to say no. Listen, my kids in this house, they know that. And it's not that I mean to be the no person. I'm not the no person, but this is where kids, I tell you, you want to know if you which parent is a yes parent and which parent is a no parent. Look at who they ask for things all the time. Kids, they will tell you who you are. Okay, you want to know which parent you are? Go watch who they ask for things. Listen, my kids, I will see that they want something. I know it. I can see them waiting for I'm like, hey, what's up? What do you want? They don't want to talk to daddy. Daddy gonna give them a fair answer. Okay. What do you want? Nothing. And no, what do you want? I see that you're looking. What do you want from mama? Nothing. And they will literally walk off because they know. And then they know that, look, if they really wanted it, they will ask daddy. Okay. And I'm going to challenge my parents on here. Okay. Kids are smart. I'm going to challenge you that when the children come to ask for something, you can ask them, if you know the other parent, have you talked to your father? Have you talked to your mother? Whoever that no parent is. Okay. Because we have to start having this level playing field with our children, and you don't want them to, because don't think that you're winning them over. Okay, listen, you may think, wow, they're so, and I'll tell you, maybe the battles, maybe in my house, maybe in some of your houses too, the battle is maybe you think one parent is harder than the other, so you want to be that parent that kind of lightens up the mood. Okay, and the problem is you're not teaching them. First of all, two things are happening. You're not teaching them how to accept the word no, but then the second thing, you're teaching them how to play the game. Okay, who to ask to get their way, almost a manipulation type thing. And so we must train our kids the right way so that they can become resilient adults. No is okay. Kids are going to be told, kids are supposed to be told no. Okay, they got to earn some things. So here's what she says. Children, they won't find the path of getting wealthy or getting rich unless you teach them. Okay, and the only way that you can teach them is by showing them. Okay, not just saying it with your mouth. You got to teach them. She goes on to say, like I talked about, parents don't know when to say no, and you allow your kids to lead the life that when they become adults they can't live. What do I mean by that? I always tell my kids, I said, we rich, you not rich. Okay, you don't got money. Y'all are broke. Okay, y'all ain't make no money. Okay, you don't own none of this stuff in my account. This house ain't yours. None of this is yours. You're not rich. Okay, my kids came home and said, no, you're not. You're not rich. No, you're not. Okay, you're absolutely not. You're gonna have to earn everything that you, and it's a good thing. You want them to earn it. Okay, and here's how I was growing up. Sometimes I have to self-evaluate. You know, in our house, I'll tell you some of the talks we have. I remember growing up, and listen, first of all, my mom didn't have money like that. I was happy that we had food on the table. So we washed dishes, we cleaned our room, we cleaned the house. Okay? You know, how many of you have this conversation? Because this is how, let me tell you how selfish kids are. Okay, how selfish we are when we were kids. Guess what? Your kids were the same way. My kids were the same way. She just had us because she wanted us to wash dishes all the time. Right? And you know what I'm saying? look at it. Oh my God. You know, let me look at y'all face. Look. She just had kids because she wanted us to wash the walls and clean the house. How selfish are we? She gave us life, and we talk about she had us because she wanted us to clean the house. Oh my God. Come on. Oh my God. Man. Like this is our kids, y'all. But you know what's crazy? Because we have that, you got to understand, breaking the habit of being yourself, you ain't safe. Breaking the habit of being yourself, everybody was on that mentorship call, right? That is ingrained in your head. So when you go to make a decision, that is going through the filter, like, I don't want to do what my parents did. They overworked me. They treated me like a slave. I cleaned up every single day, you know, and today you're a responsible adult. Did they really do wrong? Today, you're a responsible adult that knows how to keep your room clean, wipe off a couple counters, and clean some dishes when you have to, right? They create a responsible human being, okay? They didn't create a spoiled human being that says, I'm waiting for the housekeeper to come before I clean anything. Okay, I need someone to put my clothes up in the closet. I'm going to leave the dishes in the dish. I'm going to see who else comes to get it. No, they raise responsible adults. But we are undoing, okay, what our parents have taught us. So when our kids do, and so we overpraise, okay? I'm going to talk about what spoiled means because she hit it. Let's talk about it, okay? I'm going to be straight. I'm throwing them here because it happens in my house, right? And we don't know it, right? This is ingrained in us. We all have the same thought process. Grandmother, man, I watch my mom. Listen, how many of y'all watching y'all mom and dad? They're such wonderful grandparents. They're so nice, aren't they? But they were like, you felt like they were the evilest thing in the world when you were children, didn't you? But y'all ain't gonna say that. We can call them spankings. We're gonna call them spankings on this. Okay, you know, mama didn't play. My mama, thank God, okay, because she needed to be rough on me. I think my mom kept me alive. Let me just be honest. From where I come from, my mom kept me alive the way that she was. And today I look at my mom and I laugh and say, Mom, you are totally not the same. Okay. But my children don't understand. I said, y'all gonna make me show you who my mama really is. Okay? And y'all don't get to experience what grandmama really was. Now, grandma, we say spoil. Grandma's what they say, because we say this. I'm a spoil my grandbabies. Those are my grandbabies. They gonna get whatever they want. Okay? And we gotta be careful because I watch it. let's talk. Like I'll have an agenda in the house that we have, right? Not to spoil our children. And then what grandma calls them to come. Daddy said I ain't buying it. Daddy ain't buying it. Daddy got it to buy it. Daddy ain't buying it. And what happens? Grandma buys it. So it defeats the purpose, right? It's like us going through this financial fast and you find a way to evade the lesson. Let me say it again. Because when you evade the lesson, you miss the blessing. We go through this 21-day fast and you find some loophole to evade the 21-day fast and you miss the lesson, which in turn you miss your blessing. Okay? Because we got to come in this deal with the right intention. So listen, when you want to teach your child a lesson, hey, you got to tell grandma, hey, grandma, get back. This is a lesson that I'm trying to teach my children. I don't want them to be spoiled. I know you said I was spoiled growing up, but you said no a lot of times. Let me say no to my children so they can experience what I got to experience, because you raised a great son. You raised a great daughter. You did the right things. I was wrong, okay? I wanted everything, and I wasn't supposed to have it. Thank you that you did not give me everything, okay? So here's what she says spoil means. Spoil, the word in the definition in the dictionary says that it means to damage seriously. Woo! When you start, you won't say this word no more. You won't say I'm going to spoil my kids no more. It means to damage seriously, because words are power. The word, right, is life. Okay? To damage seriously, to impair the disposition or character of, by overindulgence, or, listen to this one, excessive praise. Let me say it again. Okay, I get it. We got to affirm our kids. Okay, affirmation. We got to affirm them. That's good. But we cannot excessively praise them for small things that they're supposed to be doing. When my kids, it's like saying, my kid woke up this morning, he's breathing. I'm like, oh my God, good job. You're breathing today. Yes, you're doing such a good job breathing. You're doing such a good job eating off your plate. You're supposed to. Okay, there are some things that don't require praising, because now they're going to look for praise every time they do it. You go, listen, mamas. You're going to raise up young men, young husbands, that when their wife get there, they're expected to be praised for taking out the trash. Come on, right? That's it. We know that's a no. I took out the trash every day of my life when I was a mama. And mama never celebrated me taking out the trash. You're supposed to, okay? Mama put food in your belly. Yes, you're supposed to. There's food. How do you think food just appears in the house? Okay? How do you think electricity turns on? Okay? No, that's it. We can't praise them for maybe starting off, good job taking out the trash, but then it's a norm. That's your job. Okay? But of course, the big things, we praise them. So don't overpraise your kids. Don't overindulge them. Don't give them everything. You got to take opportunities to say no sometimes. You have to. You can't give them everything. Like I talked about, we grew up probably the worst out of our entire family and became probably one of the best. And that's because we lived a hard life, but that hard life gave us a great journey and gave us strength, resilience as adults today. We bounce back. We don't complain. We don't whine about something we didn't get. We just go harder. Okay? Versus if you spoil the kid when they don't get what they want, instead of them going out and do it harder, they whine, oh, it's not coming. They're against me. Listen, there are grown adults that become powerful political figures that don't know how to accept no. Okay? Do you understand me? Okay, listen. We are watching what can happen when you spoil a child and what they become in this world. Okay, they can be a torment to the world. So I'm gonna leave it right there. Where we gotta learn how to say no to our children. Okay, so what we're gonna do is leave a legacy of good money sense. So how do we do that? We're gonna teach them about money management. We're gonna have them and bring them in on the conversation of budgeting. So this is a perfect time during this 21-day financial fast that you have to say no right now. So parents, listen, okay? A lot of you want, in my house, I love my wife. Listen, we have different parenting sometimes, right? And I always tell her, and I try to make sure it's not me being so hard, but we come from two different eras where I'll watch Wanda explain why she's saying no to the children. And it's okay to explain it, right? Why you're saying no, it's okay. But I don't owe you an explanation for you to debate back. You're not going to debate with that. Daddy don't do debates, okay? And I get it because I come from that, like, don't talk back. It is what it is. I don't need you to convince me why you need to get it. I get it. It's cute. You're going to be a good salesperson. But the next time I say something, that's what it is. Okay. My kids don't, for me, my kids don't debate me. And so a lot of us, we've become friends with our kids. You understand that? You become friends with your kids where they don't know how to draw the line. You understand that, right? Your children don't know the difference. They don't know how to draw the line. So you have to absolutely draw the line. Like, I'm the adult, I'm the parent, and what I say goes. Okay, that is. And I know coming up, oh, they have a voice, and depending on what area you live in, okay, you may sympathize with that. Like, I want them to make sure they have a voice. And I get it. And we gotta walk that fine line because I want my kids to be able to speak up at the right times. Okay, so get it, you know. But I see all the mamas laughing. Okay, this is the mama thing. I see it. You got to lay it down. They got to know this is my word, and there ain't no debate going on after this. When I say it, it's one time. Listen, okay, my mama was a gangster, and I listen. She said one time. Okay, you knew you had one time. She would say it. You better have been walking in the area that wherever she said go get or go do, you better have been walking towards that area, and at least a little bit of expeditiously. Okay. Because mom, whatever was around her, it was gonna be right on you. Okay, that's how my mama was. So we moved when she said something. We didn't have no hearing problems. Okay, we weren't hearing impaired. She didn't have to say it twice. It was if she said it twice, she was saying it as she had you in her hands. Okay, and she was going through a paragraph with it. And this time it wasn't as fast as you wanted to go. She was going really slow with the paragraph. This is when you couldn't wait till the paragraph was over. I'm not being funny right now. Listen, and then you got the message. And it never happened again. Parents, listen, we got to stop negotiating with our kids. We got to be parents and leaders. Okay? We do. You got to raise them so when you're not around, that they are going to operate, right, around authority, okay, properly, the same way, but at the same time, have a voice, okay? And so we're going to train them up. You know, getting to this, our budget, let's talk about money sense, okay? When we say no, here's what you can do, okay? You can sit them down and say, listen, okay, now, look, what goes in my head, money don't grow on trees. Parents have just real quick things, right? Now we'll say, of course, money grows on trees, made through. Yes, I get it. Here's what my mama was really trying to say, okay? When they said money don't grow on trees. I'm working hard for this money. And just because you want it don't mean you're going to get it at all. Okay. If you're going to get it, you need to go work for it. It ain't just going to fall from the tree. And so we have to be good stewards with our money. And here's what we're doing as a family. I know that you see where we're living at and you see us get some things and we have the money. But if we're not good with what we have, God cannot bless us in the multitude. He can't 10 times our income if we're not being good stewards of what we have right now. And so we need to save this money in a bank or invest it, and we show them how to invest. So like an idea I had for the holidays for Christmas, for example, instead of buying your kids, you don't want to make a perfect example. We've been giving our kids exactly, they give you a list. They give you a list of demands. And you go out and buy them the PS5, you buy them this, and you buy them that. And guess what they're going to think growing up? People got to give me stuff. Give me. Why is the government not giving me this? Why you hear these conversations where these adults, they have expectations that the government should take care of them. Okay, what do I mean by that? They got this job regulation here. No, we got to go work hard. Sometimes some of us got to work twice as hard than what we have to do, right? Okay, so we got to raise that. So you're just gonna go work till you get it. Period. So Christmas, for example, buying gifts or birthdays. Man, these birthdays, I see. Whew, these birthdays, y'all. These birthdays look like weddings sometimes. Are y'all hearing me? What is going on? Two things that are happening right now. Okay. One, you are raising that kid and giving them a demand on their life that they may not be able to support when they become adults. You're setting them up for absolute failure. Because now they have expectation to do that for their children, and then they don't have the money. Because we know today the average family today makes $50,000. The median, not the average. I'm sorry, the median income in America. The median, not the average. That means everybody would have it. The median income in America is about $50,000. Okay, and that's combined household income. So that means most likely your children, whether you know it, I know it's your baby, you're like, no, my baby's gonna have $100,000 per year. No, your baby's gonna struggle for a little bit. Okay, My baby's going to struggle for a little bit, you know, and I'm going to let her struggle for a little bit and teach her the lessons, you know, teach my son the lessons, because that's where the journey's at. So no, your babies are not going to come off automatically making $100,000 a year to support their lifestyle if they want. Okay, listen, y'all are running these budgets. You know what it takes. You know, we make a significant amount of money. We are definitely in the top 5%. And I'm looking at groceries like 1,300. I know the average family only makes 25,000, 50,000 a year. You need to tell me people need $1,300 a month to eat. Plus, that's not even including going out to eat. So if you want to eat at McDonald's or Burger King, whatever these other fast food restaurants you want to go out, you're spending half of your paycheck on food. And then you got rent or mortgage. Then you got your bills. People, no wonder people are living paycheck to paycheck. We're literally eating up our money. Okay. We are living off our money fully. And then the kids take up the rest. And here's where I know that most of you are going to sympathize. You're going to say, because you're living paycheck to paycheck, you got in your head, you got one shot to make your kids feel happy. Your kids are happy. Okay? Your kids want more of your attention than gifts. But sometimes we think giving them some, listen, I know what my kids, they want nothing more than their dad to sit down right next to them and just listen to them talk about their video games. Okay? You want to talk about a gift to my kids? Here's what a gift with my kids would be. All they would want, if daddy could, listen, I know. Christmas, daddy goes to sit down with them. We go in our movie room. Okay, I tell my son to put on those video games because daddy don't play video games. I'll tell you that. All right, I don't play like that. That's not my style, but I know that's what my kids desire. Okay, and so there will be some times I can set aside and say, you know what? Let me try to figure out this gaming system with my sons or with my daughter, and just take the time to. We may be sitting on the couch and I actually play the game with them. You know how that would rock their world? Okay, they want time. They don't want gifts. They want you to just pay attention. I remember when I was a child, you know, and now I get it because that's all my kids ask for. They look at me building this house. Like my kids will show me their game all day long, like all day long. But I remember me being that child. And Nintendo, it was the base Nintendo. And we'd be playing. All I want, hey mama, come see this. You just want, it's like playing being a sport. You just want your parents to look over your shoulder and see how good you are. Hey, look at me. Look what I did. Okay, because that's what we are, little human beings that want affirmation and confirmation from our parents. We want our parents to celebrate us. Look at me. Look what I did. Okay, that will be a greater gift than you buying them something. Okay, and sometimes that's what it is. So parents, I want to release that bondage from you, because I know it's bondage when you feel that you have to go do it. You feel because the world has put this pressure on you to go buy this. Their birthday has to be lavish. They have to have this. They want more than having some people at their birthday party. You know, Michelle Singletary talked about there was a story in here. She asked her son, what do you want for your birthday? And he names his uncles and cousins, and I just want them. And she said, no, but what do you want? And she's thinking he don't understand the question. What do you want for your birthday? And he said, again, I want my uncles to name all the uncles and aunties and cousins. And he said, a cake. See, all your kids want, they just want to be around their family. That is the greatest gift you can give them. A birthday party, a cake, a couple plates, and some room to go play with their cousins. That's it. But we you know what we do as parents? We go relive our childhood and our wants. And we shower our kids with what we wanted as children. Okay? We forget. And we go get everything. We go buy all these gifts because we're now showing. We want to show the world. Look where we at. Look at my status. Look at my kids. And so we're putting the birthday party on Instagram. It's not for the kids. It's for the gram. Okay. Look at how we celebrated our child. Okay. Look at how much they got. They don't got nothing. That's what you got. You understand that? And so we're teaching this consumerism mindset. So here's the real lesson. We have now taught our children how to become consumers. And when they can't live the life that they want to live, they're going to go out and get credit cards. And they're going to indebt themselves. It's called they're going to enslave themselves to the system. Okay? You're going to put them in the matrix. You're going to have your kids sell their time to the matrix, to the enslavement of debt, by giving them a lifestyle that they can't recreate when they become adults early on in life. So if we teach them to be modest people early, okay, they won't stray from that when they become adults. Okay, they will be good stewards of their money. And quite frankly, if you taught them well enough, they should become self-made millionaires without your money before you were able to do it. You understand that? If you teach them the right way, you teach them how to save instead of getting gifts. So, I want to challenge you, parents, like a birthday, maybe get something that it teaches them about saving money, or it teaches them about banking. Our son Xavier, he has a card that he can save money to, okay? And he gets to look at it, and that money going, he gets to look. My son looks at charts. Okay, I have a son now. Now he just look at charts. He popped out the Constitution out of his pockets. Okay, so we had a conversation about the Bill of Rights, right? Just a lot that we can teach our kids that we should know. Okay, if you ain't talking about another thing, I know it's not a part of this book, but if you're not teaching your kids about the Constitution, okay, most powerful thing, they need to know the Bill of Rights, the top 10 rights. Okay, they need to know these things, especially depending on our community needs to know these things. Okay, understand there's things that we need to know that empower you. Okay, money is one of them. So what she says is take the time to sit down with your kids when you're making your budget. If they're old enough, she had a 15-year-old, and they're telling her testimony about how she sat down with her daughter. Unfortunately, I think she talked about how she went through a divorce. Not Michelle, this is another person with their testimony. And her daughter would always, after this divorce, her daughter would always ask for money, and she would go to the mall with her friends. Anybody got those kids that always go to the mall? I remember my daughter wanted to go to the mall. Okay, what are you going to the mall for? When you're window shopping, so that means you're creating an urge to be a consumer and being this is what I want to buy. I want to buy that. I want to buy that. Every talk is about buying instead of making or creating. Okay, so they're at the mall spending money that they don't have. And so finally, this parent had to sit down and say, no, I don't give you any more money for the mall. Okay. And she sat down actually and said, let's look at this budget. We're gonna do a family budget together. And so this her name is Jasmine here, the testimony. Jasmine goes, okay. And she sat down. At first, Jasmine like all about, okay, let's do this budget, Mom. I'm ready to go. And what her mom said, we're just gonna start cutting the luxuries out of our life. And Jasmine goes, I'm like, all good luxuries, because your kids don't know what luxuries are. You understand that? You might be providing them luxuries and they think it's normal. You raise some bougie kids. Okay, when your kids start saying certain things to other kids that are not normal, you're raising bougie kids. I had to bring my kids back. Okay, soon as I had to bring my kids back. Okay, when they start realizing, maybe you put them around cousins, they start realizing that their life is different. Oh, you don't got that? What? Oh, let me bring this back. Let me walk this all the way back. Okay, I'm not raising spoiled kids or entitled kids by accident. Okay, it's not their fault. They don't know. It's our fault. Okay, it's not them. You understand? Anytime we talk about this, it's not the kid's fault. It's our fault. Okay, so Jasmine, 15 years old, her mom sat down and said, hey, we're gonna cut off the luxuries out of our life. And so our mom took the cable. They stopped eating out every night. They were eating out every night. Listen, it happened in my house, folks. My kids will say things like, this is why I know we have to walk it back. We're going to get some Chinese food is one of their favorites. My youngest son was yelling Chinese food all day. What do you want? Chinese food? Like, that ain't in the house. That ain't in the pantry. No, I want you to go buy it. What? Oh, yeah. The entitlements kicked in. Okay? So Jasmine, like, I didn't realize that eating out was a luxury. Ooh. I didn't realize that cable was a luxury. She's like, only watching 15 channels. What? She's like, now this is terrible. But what she realized is how important it was to her mom, because her mom didn't have the money. And her mom showed her that she had $600 in the account. And that's when she realized that her mom was super happy about that. And she realized this must be a big deal. See, kids don't understand money right now. You understand that, right? They don't understand money. They don't understand how it comes. Just like grown adults sometimes don't understand how it comes. So she showed her this budget and she talked about, here's how we spend. Here's what this is going to go towards. Here's what this is going to go towards. And here's what we're going to save to, right? And now you're teaching them how to be good money managers. Okay, so when they depart you, they're good. Your presence absolutely counts in their life. We may be spoiling our children into not becoming responsible adults. Okay, Luke 6:40 says this: the student is not above the teacher, but everyone who is fully trained will be like the teacher, like their teacher. Okay, the student is not above the teacher. Okay, stop letting them dictate, what they want, when they want it, how they gonna get it. Okay, and running you through the ringer. Okay, I want to release you from the bondage of having to buy gifts because you watch everybody else doing it. Right? Do not be conformed to the things of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Okay, it's not about the world. It's about what is Christ, what does your foundation call you to do? What does wisdom call you to do? Okay, and follow that. And if you follow that, you can't go wrong. Let's see. And then so testimony for day 11. This is Jermaine. She goes, because of your guidance, tough love, and godly principles, I am out of debt except for my mortgage. And my husband and I are working to pay that off. My children's college fund has grown as have my emergency fund and savings fund. I spend according to my budget, which I look to daily. The stress and worry of money no longer consuming, but with the stress of money no longer consuming me. Something that was a daily worry is now a thing of the past. So a lot of your concerns can be gone if you just follow the example. Okay, this 21-day fast. And she talks about living large, but I kind of went over. So the next biggest thing that we're going to talk about is college. How many of y'all want? Hey, we want our kids to go to college, right? You know, some of you might have another mindset about college, depending. Okay, I want my kids to get a decision in our house. They can go to college if they want to. If they desire to go to college, it's great. They can go to college. And if they desire to be entrepreneurs, they don't have to go to college, but I need a game plan. Okay, so you go to college because college is maybe giving them some structure, but we're not only to college if it indebts them. I will not allow my kids to go to college if it's in debt to them or in debt to my family, okay? Because that defeats the purpose. Now, I want them to also, however, have a game plan. Maybe they have a mentor, okay? Today, we have a lot of resources that are available to this. So if maybe paying a mentor, okay? Someone who has what you want them to become. You know, if you want them to become a politician, okay? They may need to attend college, become a lawyer, okay? If they're becoming a politician, they need to go to law school. Or something of that sort. But here's what we talk about. She's going to give you some options of saving for college. First of all, parents, here's what our goal is for our children. Okay, we need to send our children off and make sure they're not in debt. Okay, we have to start creating that legacy where when we send our kids off into this world, right, they got a stacked up savings account. This is why we talk about, hey, they have to live with us. They're going to become responsible adults. They live with us. They save their money. One of my rules in my house when I have adults in my house, okay, you're an adult, 17, 18, I consider you an adult, is that under my roof, especially if you're working, you will save money and it will be progressive. There will never be weeks where your money goes backwards. When your money goes backwards, we're going to have a conversation and we're going to budget out things and say, why did your money go backwards? Why did your savings go backwards? Okay, I put pressure. Listen, I have a niece in my home right now. She's 18 years old. You know, we actually have a business meeting today. We have a budget meeting today that we're going to talk about. And when I sit down with her, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to give her the budget sheet. Okay, she's going to make it. That's going to be her homework. And then we're going to talk about what's in her bank account, what she spent on. She's going to break it down for me. Okay, and I'm going to say, listen, you are just starting in this world. Do you think you need to eat out every day? Whatever I see on there, right? Okay, if it's eating out that I see, if whatever, getting her nails done at this young age, okay? So creating a habit of getting your nails done young, man, $80, $80, $100 for nails, 18? Come on, y'all, come on. Let's walk it. Let's walk it back, okay? We ain't. I'm gonna have a rule. I better not see. You better go pop old school style. Let's go pick out some nail polishes from Walmart. Okay, set those in your room. Okay, and you can start getting nails done when you have your own house. Okay, listen, I'm talking real stuff. You're gonna be having you get. This is a conversation that's really going to happen, but your nails are gonna get done when you have your own house. There are no luxuries. Luxuries get cut out. It's like when you file bank. Do you realize when you file bankruptcy, what as a grown adult, when you're homeless, you got to go to a shelter. There's rules as an adult. Okay, when you go bankrupt as an adult in the real world, because we got to put real world situations on there. In the real world, when you go bankrupt, you know what the government does? They tell you can't invest in anything. The only thing you can do is pay off your debts. You can't have no luxuries. You can't go out to eat. Like that's what they put on you as adults when you file bankruptcy. So we should be putting the same pressure on adults, young adults in our home, the same exact way. Our children, the same way. They're basically bankrupt. Okay, and until you have your own thing going on, you're gonna operate like you're bankrupt. The only place your money is going to is bills. And if I see luxuries coming through, then I'm gonna go ahead and change the situation. Since you are indebting yourself anyway, let me go and become one of those debtors. Okay, go ahead and throw me about $300 for the rent now. Right? So either you progressively save your account, that's a good option, okay, and be a responsible adult and get yourself in position to be ready, or let me go and give you real world pressures. Okay, this is us being great parents, okay, great adults, great examples. So saving for college, listen, there are so many options for college. I was so fortunate. I served in the United States Air Force. If you're a parent on here, let me just tell you what happened to me. I went into the military at 19. I was a teenage dad, and I went to college. Listen, I got a quasi scholarship for college. Okay, I'm gonna tell you the game. They're gonna give you a little bit of money because college is a business. Okay, you better understand college is a business. I got accepted into Cal State Long Beach. They gave me a small scholarship, and they'll drag you in the first year. Then they give you financial aid if you approve for it. So I got financial aid, and then you got to teach your kids how to handle that too, because they'll blow that money. I blew that money. Listen, I was not a good money manager because I did exactly what I was groomed up to do. Yeah, I spit. Okay, $2,000 at one time was a lot of money for me when I was 19. You understand that? Your kids are going to see, financial aid and money, and they're going to blow it because we haven't taught them. Okay, it's going to happen. And so my first year in college, listen, folks, not only did I blow that money and party, I got a 1.0 GPA. Okay, guys, can I tell the truth? Because I finally got on my own and I just wasn't responsible. Yeah, I got to admit that. And so when I joined the military, okay, they gave me structure. And then I seen other kids that were my age that did have some financial literacy about them. I had no financial literacy, but there were other kids, at my age in the military that I got to hang around that had financial literacy. They had a savings account. Okay. They were set and they knew how to operate. And I realized, like, I'm not normal. Like, I need to get my stuff in order. And I started getting my stuff in order. And so in the military, fortunate, when I realized that college, when I first started college, they paid 75% of your college in the military when I first started. And so as soon as I finished what we called my career development courses, I went straight into college, and it was paid for. And let me tell you, because I had the pressure of when I was in college, I was a young teenage dad, of course, still trying to live as 19 or 18. So a lot of pressure on being in the military. That took a lot of pressures off because they paid a lot of it. And then ultimately, probably a year, 2 years in the military, they made it 100%. So right now, today, the military pays 100% of your education. I was able to complete my college degree from Embry-Riddle University, which is, some of you know, that's a very prestigious aeronautical school. It costs a lot of money to go to that school. I think $200,000 for tuition. Government paid fully for it. I finished my master's degree while I served. Before I became a lieutenant, I finished my master's degree from Troy University. Okay, got that in human resource management with a business twist. Okay, business minor. And then, of course, I have my GI Bill, which is now post 9/11, that will fully pay for my doctor's degree. Okay, so militaries, and if your kids if you're not in a position to pay for their college and they are screaming and hollering, you know that you don't got it, don't indebt yourself for college. Okay, they can go to a community college, right? Your community, you can get, like, that's given to your community. It's the same. If they go 2 years to knock out their GE, general education, okay, they're transferable. They can transfer. They can definitely transfer all their 2 years. When you get into the 3 years, it gets a little tricky depending on the college. But they can definitely transfer all of their GE. So it only makes sense. First of all, let me just give you pure sense. If they go to the local college and it's in-state, most time it's so cheap. It's so cheap they can probably work their own job and pay for their own college the first 2 years if they have to. Okay, but if you want to put them in the right position and it's not indebting you, you can pay for 2 years in a community college. Get them to knock out the general education. And here's the best part. Okay, let me tell you, parents, when kids go to school, you're going to be able to figure out in the first 2 years if they're serious. Otherwise, you're going to waste money their first year, because you know what they're going to do. You know what the school I wanted to go to, and I'm glad I didn't go because I would have wasted that money. I wanted to go to Grambling University. I only had one thought, Grambling University, because what I said, I'm partying every day. Okay, your kids like, man, I'll be at Grambling University. Yes, they go party. They're going away from their parents. They're going to party their first year. So you need to know the type of human being they're going to be in their first 2 years. And then their real college, the third and fourth year, now they're serious. Okay, let's try to get you into Harvard or Yale. If that's what they aspire to do, they can get in mid-year if they want to. Okay, but let's make sure they are responsible for those for the first 2 years. Now there's different savings plans for college. Let's say you're a parent right now and you're saving for their college. She talks about a 529 and you gotta look at the laws in your state. It can be tax deductible. She was saying something about 2,500. Get with a tax professional, make sure that is going to appease you. That's going to be good for your situation. She said it could work for your situation. It may not. It's only a tax deferred program. Okay. So tax deferred just means it's deferred. You're going to pay taxes on it at some point if you do the wrong things. So there's a 529 plan that you can prepay the tuition to go towards that college. And if it's used towards college, it's just like a 401k. Then I believe that you don't pay taxes on it. But get with a tax professional and let them walk you through that. So start now with that college fund. So we have several funds that we have to save right now. You have your emergency fund, which it should be at least 3 months to 6 months of your bills. You have your fund so that you don't dip in your emergency fund, and you have your kids' college fund. Okay, if you expect them to go to college, and what I'll explain to them, right? You might need them to be responsible adults. Maybe you might have to get them to work, or the military, right? Listen, the military definitely changed my life. Okay, I'll tell you, the military changed my life. It made me a responsible adult. Made me very, the military raised very young leaders. Okay, I look back what the accomplishment of young airmen do. They put you in charge of some things early. They make you responsible for some things very early. You got young 21-year-olds who are responsible for leading some other airmen, depending on the ranks they achieve. Okay, so military is another route. I'm an Air Force guy, so I don't know how many vets we have on the line right now. If I always let me just tell you straight up what the milk for those who are parents on here, military. Air Force is a good life if it comes to picking the service. Okay, I'm not just saying that because I was in the Air Force. I'm saying that because I was deployed as an Air Force member. I was in the stuff, and so we live a better life, even deployed. Better housing. Okay, when we do have to go to war and do certain things. And when I say war, there's certain things that we do. Air Force sends the officer to war. Okay, every other branch sends the enlisted to war. Let's put it that way. So that may be a route that your family has to take. Maybe they serve 4 years, they get a full ride scholarship to pay for their college if they absolutely have to do that route. Okay, and so then lastly, teach them about savings. And then before they depart your home, here's the lesson that she gives us. Teach them how to live below their means. That's a big one. The habit of saving, not the habit of spending more than you make. Okay? Because what happens, listen, I have some lessons I have to teach in my house too. Okay? Where I'm in the next level. I don't know if my daughter's on here or not. Okay? But I'm gonna talk about it. Let's see if she's on here. She's been getting on these calls, but my daughter, like our conversation we just had. My daughter has a good savings, and you have to make sure that your kids understand just because they got a savings, you don't dip in your savings. You don't go in there, right? That's for emergency. And if you're creating the emergency, okay, you got to change that. So my daughter, she has good savings, and in this time, she's dipping in her savings right now. We just had a conversation. I said, I need you to go get a job. Like here's what you don't want to get into, where you dip so far into your savings that now you have to get a job. I want you to go get a job. Still do your entrepreneur thing, make some money on the side, but if it's not fully paying the bills, then it's not it. Okay, don't use your reserves thinking that in 6 months I'll be off my feet. No, go work a job part-time, do your business part-time. Okay, make sure your bills are paid with your job. Okay, and the entrepreneur stuff you're doing, and then that savings you don't touch. You got to keep a mentality that that's my floor. My savings as it goes up is my floor. I never want to dip below the floor. So teach them the habit of not spending in their savings as well too. So how to live below their means, how to budget. Okay, teach them how to budget. Sit your kids down early. Teach them how to budget. She's gonna give us a budget at the end of this. Teach them how to save. My son Xavier has, and I'll let Wanda type it in here. He has a card that's called Green Something, where he gets to look at his charts and know his savings. I want his savings to go up. I invest in silver in my house. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna teach my son, okay, now we're going to take some of that savings, the green dot, now you have some of that savings, and I'm going to teach you how to take a percentage of that savings, and I want you to go buy a small portion of silver. Okay, my son's going to do that. And so now he knows I can't go just spend this. Yeah, I want video games. 10% goes here. Okay, 10% we're going to teach you how to give to charity. Okay, because We got to teach you how to let some money go and not, you don't idolize the money. So we have to teach our kids all these lessons that we have to learn ourselves, okay? And then we teach them how to avoid debt, okay? If you can't pay cash, start teaching your kids. If you can't pay cash, then you can't afford it. Listen, folks, just because you have good credit and your credit can't afford it. You can't afford it. If you can't go out and buy cash, I need you to start understanding you can't afford it. Tell yourself that. If you have to get it on credit, just say it out loud. I can't afford it because I have to put it on credit. Only thing that you should be putting on credit these days, right? And if you leverage it the right way, is your mortgage. Okay. And I would say I differ in that depending on the situation. But for the most part, your mortgage is the only thing that you should put on credit. And then lastly, so I'm going to talk about the last testimony, then we're going to go to our daily assignment and talk about our pledge here. Okay. Day 11 testimony by Tamara. She said the fast was very challenging. It made me realize how much money I spend unnecessarily on my kids. I'm a single mother with 2 daughters, age 14 and 10. In the aftermath of a traumatic divorce, I found it very difficult to say no to my daughters. Okay, because sometimes when you're going through that pressure and that stress, you feel that your kids are going through the same thing, and so you want to shower them with gifts because you want to make sure that they're not impacted or affected, but you're hurting them in the long run. Okay. And so she goes, it was especially hard with my older daughter, who often asked for money to go to the mall with her friends or money to get her hair and nails done. Okay. Listen, it's cute. Hey, mommy, yes, go get your nails done with your daughter. Don't be letting them listen, maybe put some little polish on it. It's mommy daughter time, but don't do it all the time. Because you're going to set a trend. Okay. It's going to be for later. Oh, green light. Green light is the name of the car. Okay. And what I'll do is we'll drop a link or something. I'll find where it's at. It's called Green Light. And I think you should all get that for your kids and show them how to save and budget. And then you get to see where their mindset's at when they buy things. Let me get back here. She also broke our written. So listen, this is her daughter. She also broke our written agreement about her cell phone by sending emails and instant messages. This increased our bill to $350, an unaffordable amount for her. And so listen, in the times we are in, man, you got kids that got iPhone. I'm watching kids that got iPhone X's and 11s. Look, I had an iPhone. I barely wanted my son to have an iPhone. Like my son has an old iPhone. I barely want him to have that iPhone. Okay, why? Because we're still training them up, regardless if it was just something I had sitting there. Kids got iPhones these days, folks. You better go get them a flip phone. You'll get them a phone that dials out one time. Okay. So she goes further to say, after praying and meditating, I decided to have a talk with my daughter about the budget and finances. And she basically set her down, just like I talked about earlier. And she budgeted with her, showed her daughter the expenses, and this is what we have to do. She said they both understood that it was important for us to have our basic needs met, like having a home rather than having a lot of material things. So you show them what's important in their life. We also talk about our needs versus wants. This is a great opportunity to have that conversation with your kids. The fast has not solved my problems, but it brought most of my issues to light. I now see the areas that I need to work on, and I'm taking the necessary steps to improve in these areas. That's a testimony by Tamara. So, after this 21-day fast, you may have a testimony after this. Some of you may be going through the same exact things that this woman is going through as well too. So here's the daily assignment. Estimate the amount of time your teen or your young child has spent at the mall or shopping with you compared to how much time you spent talking to him or her about budgeting, savings, or investing. Now, let me tell you, some of you are not gonna hear this message. You're gonna say this right now. Some of you already say, well, I'm glad I don't go to the mall. Some of you are like, I'm glad I don't shop because this book was written some years ago. Okay, times have changed. We're in a digital era. If you don't think that showing your kids how to use Amazon ain't shopping, listen. Let me go. Conviction just happened right now. Okay, in my home, my son knows how to add things to the shopping cart of Amazon. When I found out, that shook me up so much. My wife said, "Yeah, Xavier will put stuff in the shopping cart." What? He put stuff in the shopping cart that my wife can see, going somewhere. Boy, don't add nothing. I don't care what your mama say. You better not add nothing to that shopping cart. It's me and you. Okay, me and you. Don't add nothing to that shopping cart. You weren't like, why is nothing added? Yeah, daddy scared him. Okay, don't add nothing to that shopping cart. It's me and you if I hear that shopping cart gets filled with something, okay? He's found out a sly way of asking for things without having to go through mama or daddy. You understand that? So this is the new age of shopping, y'all. It's no different than going to the mall. You understand that? We're teaching our kids how to window shop, how to digitally shop, how to be consumers. Ooh, look at that, look at that. We're teaching them how to go look and find those things. Amazon is that new thing, okay? Let's not teach them that habit and pass it on. Let's teach them how to become, responsible with their money. Here's the next thing. So if you're spending more time, if we haven't talked about budgeting your money more than they're doing about what they want, then we gotta have that conversation. If you are embarrassed about how little time you spent with your child or children talking about money, make a date to have a discussion. But make it fun, okay? Of course, obviously make it fun. It could be over a game of Monopoly, y'all. We do that in our house. We play Monopoly. We also have a cash flow game. So we love playing Monopoly in our house. And what I'll do is we'll have fun, but there'll be times around the boards that we'll stop, we'll pause, and we'll teach a lesson, okay? We'll teach about all sides of the boards, right? There's 4 sides to the boards. And we'll talk about, okay, why you diversify starting off, okay? So you diversify starting off around the board. You don't go in on one side only. Okay, once you diversify, because you don't know what's going to hit hot, then once you see what's hitting, then you scale up. Okay, some of you are learning this in e-commerce. Okay, you're doing test ads right now, and once you find that right product that finally hits, you scale up. Okay, in Monopoly, the same way. In real estate, the same way. You find out an area is hidden, then you start scaling up, right? You start scaling up in your real estate game. You start scaling up in your commodities game. You start scaling up, right, in your stock game. It's the same lesson. So on that Monopoly board, we diversify starting off on all 4 sides of the boards, and then we realize what's the hot part on the board. Boom, I got a Monopoly now. Okay, boom, I got a Monopoly on that side now. Boom, I got a Monopoly on that side because I'm collecting it. I'm transferring the wealth of other people into my pockets. Okay, because that's the game. Monopoly is a real world game in our house, and that's how we look at it. So take the time to do that. You could also play the game of life. Depending on their age of your child, let him or her do the shopping on your next grocery trip. Okay, so they can know what it is. So when you budget your shopping list out, let them go shopping with you. Let them go pick out the stuff so they can work. The idea is to see how much they know about staying within the grocery budget, which of course means you need to have a list and a budget for them. Okay, on the next page is our budget. So you guys can go to page 146. Pam Brown has also gave us a budget. You guys can utilize. I like utilizing that one because they can go on the computer and do it. So feel free to use the one that's in the back of the book or the one that we've sent out. That is, we sent out on the legacy page, okay? You can go to the different links and you should be able to find it. So folks, that's what creating the legacy really is. Now we've always talked, of course, will we leave something great for our kids? Absolutely. But what's leaving money to our kids if we don't leave the greatest thing? Our mindset. The greatest thing that, this is why it's powerful to read books, okay? Because how I look at books, a lot of people look at books like it's punishment. I look at a book like this as Joe Dispenza left his legacy, okay? I look at a book like this, okay? James Rickards is leaving a legacy, okay? They're putting their mindsets, right? Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Wealth is a Choice by Dennis Kimbro, okay? Books like this. You get years of study if someone puts something in the book, right? We have the Bible, you have the Quran, you have, whatever your spiritual foundation is, okay? You have wisdom that are inside these books of people that you can read about, okay? And follow their lessons of life. That's all that it is. And so when you're reading these lessons, okay, you have to explain to your kids, okay, that I'm leaving back my mindset just like these books have left back their mindsets so that you can grow. That is the greatest thing that you can leave someone. You understand that? And if you write a book, the greatest thing you can do for your kids is leave your book to them so that they understand this and they grow with this. And even if you left them nothing at the end of this, what you left them mindset-wise, they should be good with it. They should be able to go off into the world with it and be great. That's the legacy that you want to leave, the legacy of good money sense, okay? And so that's our call, folks. I'm going to get us off here. I know we went a little bit over our time here. Thank you guys for being on. Happy Saturday. I know there's a big event. Some of our leaders throwing their own events here. Let's go. We got Chairwoman loaded, Miss Sakina out, Jewel Jalil on the call, looking like a straight boss right now. Let's go. Let's go. In everything that we do, let's leave a legacy, folks. That is our call for today. Let me play our song here and get this recording going.